Shalom. First and foremost, like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Mokakadash. Shalom to the elders for preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered to the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And I said shalom to the Akim out there. And this is a sit-down lesson, news article that I want to bring out as part of a sit-down lesson, and this is CNBC.com, published by Alex Herron and Sarah Min from CNBC.com, published by them. Last updated July the 5th, 2023 at 6:14 p.m. Eastern Time. The Dow Jones slips 100 points to snap a 3-day winning streak as investors consider Fed's latest comments live updates. The Dow Jones Industrial Average slid on Wednesday as Wall Street resumes the holiday shortening week and digests the latest Federal Reserve meeting minutes for insight on the state of the monetary policy. The 30 stock average lost 129.83 points or 0.38 points to close at 34,288.64. The S&P 500 fell 0.2% to 4,446.82. The Nasdaq Composite slipped 0.18% to end at a 13,791.65. Both the Dow Jones and S&P ended their 3-day winning streaks. And this is a graph showing right here of the statistics of the Dow Jones Industrial, which is down in the negatives category of 129.83, which is 0.38%. It says investors parse minutes from the June the 13th to June the 14th Fed meeting released Wednesday afternoon, in which most officials indicated further interest rate hikes should lie ahead. Minutes gave Wall Street an additional context to the central bank's decision to skip a rate interest at the June meeting. There is no question that the federal rate hike policies continues to drive investors' thoughts related to the second half of the year's market trajectory and economic trajectory, said Greg Bobson, CEO of AXS Investors. They continues aggressive rhetoric or messaging around their plans for the coming months got investors a lot more skittish, which said it comes after they already began talking about the complications of the timing of where the rates are going to drop later this year into 2024. The data release Wednesday morning shows the factors order were weaker than expected in May, which was 2.5 months ago. It says later in the week, investors will watch for a batch of employment and wages data for insights into the strength of the labor market. Markets closed early on Monday and were completely darkened on Tuesday for the 4th of July holiday. Last week, the Nasdaq closed out the best first half of the year since 1983, while the S&P 500 notched its best first half advance since 2019 as a surge in interest in artificial intelligence buoyed investors optimistic in stocks. The Dow Jones was laggard, raising to just 3.8%. So as of today, the Dow Jones and S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite were all down today in the negatives category after ending their 3-game winning streak, which had ended this week. of this new weeks of markets. So we're going to see how the market's going to play out of this month because it's been increasing speculations. You know, as I was reading the news article, because there have been more speculations from the upcoming more meetings of what the Federal Reserve and what's they're going to do, and that's going to affect the markets as well too. If it's going to affect in the negatives category or a positive category, due to the inflation, because the inflation been going up and down, with the economy, with the banks and stuff like that, and these CEOs and these banks and these companies, they kind of affect the market as well too. So definitely shows that whatever announcements that the Federal Reserve, what their announcement is going to make, is going to affect the markets. If it's going to lead into a positive category or a negative category, and what's going on economically, data statistic wise, or what the companies is they showing good pace that leads into the markets in a good direction or a negative direction. So we're going to see how it plays out as those categories that I just mentioned. So with that, but as of today, the markets opened back up after a short holiday weekend, and this is July the 5th, 2023, and 2 or 3 hours ago, the markets have closed of the closing bell. As you see right now, the Dow Jones slipped 142 points in the negatives category, right along with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ composite all slipped today after a 3-game winning streak. So with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying of this recent news article. So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Hakadash. Shalom to the elders for preaching the word truthfully and sincerely, and shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And until next time, I will say shalom.